Hugh Jackman, whose nice guy reputation is in the toilet. And it's crumbling and it's crumbling. And again,
she is now saying, she talked to the Daily Mail and said, "My heart and compassion goes out to everyone who has traversed the traumatic journey of betrayal. The belief has helped me navigate the breakdown of almost a 3-decade marriage." She basically said the separation was, quote unquote, a profound wound that cuts deep.
Long before their headline-making split shocked fans around the world, Hugh Jackman and Deborra-Lee Furness had already put some extremely strict rules in place to protect their marriage from the non-stop pressure, temptation, and chaos that often comes with Hollywood life. They understood exactly how demanding an acting career could be, with constant travel, long promotional tours, and months spent working on movie sets far from home. Because of that, they made a serious promise that they would never spend more than 14 days apart without seeing each other in person. They also followed another major relationship rule. They would never go to bed while carrying anger, frustration, or unresolved issues. No matter how long a disagreement lasted, even if tough conversations stretched deep into the night, they stayed committed to working things out before calling it a day. Their entire approach to life centered on one belief: family, respect, and happiness at home would always come before career success, major movie deals, or professional recognition.
If I was not with Deb the last 20 years, I'd be a very boring person. Oh, yeah. No, constant. Deb has completely changed who I am in many, many ways. Deb demands every day this was the best day.
That mindset became especially important when the couple faced one of the most painful chapters of their lives while trying to build a family. When they married in 1996, Furness was already 40, and the pair hoped to start a family as soon as possible. Jackman, who grew up in a large household with 4 siblings, always imagined having a family that included both biological and adopted children, and Furness shared that dream completely. But things did not go as planned. Starting a family naturally became an incredibly difficult challenge, and despite going through several demanding rounds of IVF treatment, the couple endured the heartbreak of 2 miscarriages. The emotional toll was enormous, leaving both of them devastated and struggling through a very painful period together.
I think honesty and intimacy, making time. You can't just assume that things will just tick along. Okay, you have to make time, and intimacy is about really sharing what you're going through, feelings, and checking in with the other person.
It's like little things that you do, because you put a lovely Valentine's post up. What are the little things that you do? What are the big things?
We have time together every morning. So we make sure, like, the day can get away from you. And sometimes in the evening, I'm sorry, that's not the best version of me. Sometimes we'll say to my wife, "Babe, I'm just out of words. I've run out of words." And she'll go, "Oh, I got it."
After facing those challenges side by side, they eventually decided to pursue adoption. In 2000, they happily welcomed their son Oscar into the family. And a few years later, their family grew again with the arrival of their daughter, Ava, bringing a new sense of joy and hope into their lives. Becoming a father changed Hugh Jackman in a major way and pushed him to confront painful parts of his past that he had carried for years. One of the biggest changes involved his relationship with his mother, Grace, from whom he had been estranged for a long time. During an emotional and deeply personal conversation, she revealed something that gave him a completely different perspective on what had happened. She explained that when she left the family, she had been struggling with severe postpartum depression and was facing challenges that felt impossible to manage at the time. Years later, Furness would once again have a huge impact on her husband's life, but this time, the stakes were incredibly serious. In 2013, she spotted a strange mark on Jackman's nose that immediately caught her attention. Instead of ignoring it, she strongly urged him to have it examined by a medical professional as soon as possible. That decision proved critical when doctors diagnosed him with basal cell carcinoma, one of the most commonly diagnosed forms of skin cancer. The discovery was alarming, and many close to the situation recognized how important her quick action had been. Because of the diagnosis, Jackman later underwent multiple procedures to remove new cancerous growths, eventually totaling at least 6 surgeries. Since then, regular checkups with his dermatologist have become a permanent part of his routine, helping him closely monitor his health and stay ahead of any future concerns. Throughout years filled with health scares, family challenges, and deeply personal struggles, Hugh Jackman never hesitated to praise Deborra-Lee Furness in public. Time and time again, he described her as his anchor, his strongest source of support, and the person who helped keep him steady through every major chapter of his life. Their relationship had been built long before fame, blockbuster movies, and worldwide recognition entered the picture, which gave their bond a foundation that seemed stronger than the pressures of celebrity life. Because they grew together before the spotlight became so intense, many believed they had found a way to stay grounded while navigating an industry known for constant distractions and enormous pressure.
I found this edition of The Star with Deb, his former wife, Deborra-Lee Furness, who had been with Hugh forever. So when they got together, she was the famous one. She was the star. She was the celebrity. She was the accomplished actress. Hugh was like on the come up. He was the grinder. He was trying to make it. And she wound up putting her career on the back burner for him. And she was reportedly always the brains behind Hugh Jackman, Inc.
Jackman regularly shared his admiration for Furness through interviews and social media, often using the hashtag #MyDebs when posting about special moments they spent together. One memorable example was his habit of placing his hand over his heart while looking toward his wife from the red carpet, creating moments that quickly spread across entertainment headlines. Behind the scenes, he reportedly maintained a strict rule that no guests, executives, or co-stars would enter his dressing room before Furness had arrived. He openly called her the foundation of his life and credited her for much of his happiness and success. Yet despite the powerful image of unity they projected for decades, the relationship would eventually face challenges that led to its surprising and highly discussed end. To understand the surprising direction of Hugh Jackman's personal life and the eventual collapse of a marriage that many believed was unshakable, it helps to look back at the difficult experiences that shaped him during childhood. Growing up in Australia, Jackman faced a life-changing event at a very young age. When he was only 8 years old, he came home from school to learn that his mother had left for the United Kingdom. Two of his older sisters went with her, while Hugh remained in Australia with his father and the rest of the family. The experience left a lasting mark on him and became one of the defining moments of his early life. In later years, Jackman spoke openly about the emotional challenges that followed. He struggled with fears, insecurities, and difficult feelings that stemmed from that sudden separation. Driven by his passion, Jackman studied musical theatre, dance, and vocals, quickly gaining momentum across Australian television and theatre. By 1999, he transitioned into film with roles in Paperback Hero and Erskineville Kings, earning a Best Actor nomination from the Australian Film Institute for the latter. While he did not win, he capped off the year by being named the Australian Star of the Year, cementing his status as a major rising talent. It was amidst this rapid professional ascent that he crossed paths with Deborra-Lee Furness on the 1995 set of the television drama Corelli. Instantly captivated, Jackman found her commanding presence so intimidating that he nervously avoided direct eye contact for the first 2 weeks of filming. When she eventually confronted him to ask if she had inadvertently offended him, he candidly confessed his feelings, transforming a tense workplace dynamic into a deep, rapidly evolving romance. Despite their 13-year age gap, Jackman intentionally waited several months before proposing to ensure his feelings transcended mere infatuation, leading to a swift marriage and decades spent building a family as one of Hollywood's most admired and resilient couples. When the couple went public with their separation in September 2023, the announcement blindsided the public, initially presenting a textbook celebrity breakup framed around mutual appreciation and gratitude for their 27-year marriage.
Maybe 10, 12 hours later, Hugh Jackman releases a joyous picture of him skip roping to "bye, bye, bye." And then underneath that it says in capital letters, "Finally."
While early reports framed the split as an amicable decision to part ways, the narrative rapidly shifted into far more dramatic territory as media scrutiny and insider speculation intensified. The narrative surrounding the split completely unraveled after media commentator Tasha Lustig published a viral report alleging that the separation was triggered by something far more scandalous than a mutual decision to part ways. According to her exposé, Jackman had crossed boundaries by developing an incredibly close relationship with Sutton Foster, his co-star in the Broadway production of The Music Man.
Besties, do you remember when Hugh Jackman cheated on his wife, then left her for Sutton Foster, and then we got the Pat Walks? The divorce is now being finalised. Not that long ago, where his PR team were putting out pieces about how she's asking for too much, she's being greedy, and he's not going to give it to her. He seems to have changed his mind, quite rightly.
Reports from various media sources suggested that Jackman and Foster had become particularly close while working together on The Music Man, though details regarding the nature and timeline of their relationship remain the subject of widespread public speculation.
We call it carpet chat. Well, you know, one of the best things that happened is because of COVID, when we were in rehearsals, we ended up sharing a room at the rehearsal space, and because they were trying to keep everything, you know, safe, and we would have a check-in every day, and we became just really close. And then when we moved to the theater, we each had our own dressing rooms, and we were like, wait a minute, I'm gonna miss you. And so we come together for about a half hour before every show.
The timing of major events also attracted attention online. Following Jackman's separation announcement in September 2023, Foster later finalized her own divorce from screenwriter Ted Griffin in October 2024.
What do you talk about?
Oh, everything, you know? And it's like, because so often I think in shows you feel, especially when you're playing a leading role and you kind of feel like you're on your own, and we've just kind of really bonded, and
So nice.
we were kind of this little pair. And yes, the greatest thing that's come out of this whole experience is that I have a new friend.
As a result, many fans and commentators closely examined the sequence of events and shared their own theories about what may have happened behind the scenes.
But Deb has begun speaking out, and she's normally a very private person. She said, "My heart and compassion goes out to everyone who has traversed the traumatic journey of betrayal." I'm going to give her a pass on traversed and journey because she's clearly going through it. She said the breakup is a profound wound that cuts deep. I am going to guess that there will not be a divorce memoir as speculated here because she's probably signed the mother of all NDAs, but I think it's going to work out for Deb in the long run.
Interest in the story continued to grow because the two performers spent significant time working together on one of Broadway's biggest productions. Beginning in 2021, they rehearsed extensively and portrayed romantic leads on stage throughout the show's successful run. Their chemistry during performances was frequently praised by theater critics and audiences alike.
But let's be real, she's being still pretty gracious. She just says that she has great empathy for anybody that deals with betrayal. That's a fact, she was betrayed. But this is always why we've got to side-eye the media reports on this, because they immediately put things out. They gave fake announcements from a PR team saying that this was all amicable, they just grew apart, they're so close still, when in reality, he had cheated on her, left her for Sutton Foster, wouldn't give her what she was owed after dedicating her entire adult life to him and his career.
Public appearances, interviews, and award show events also attracted attention, with some observers pointing to their friendly interactions and comfortable rapport as evidence of a strong connection. While many of the claims surrounding the situation remain based on media reports and public speculation, the story quickly evolved into one of the most heavily discussed celebrity relationship developments in recent years. Foster herself spoke very highly of Jackman during a widely discussed Vogue interview in June 2022, describing him as incredibly hardworking, exceptionally kind, and one of the most generous people she had ever worked with. She also shared that their friendship had grown rapidly during their time together on The Music Man, with Jackman becoming one of her closest friends. Those comments attracted even more attention later as public interest surrounding their relationship continued to grow. The connection between the two appeared to extend beyond the theater stage as well. Reports noted that their families spent Memorial Day together in 2022, a detail that many observers later pointed to when examining the timeline of events. Foster had also shared several red carpet photos featuring Jackman on social media, often accompanying them with warm messages praising his talent, professionalism, and character. At the time, those posts were viewed as friendly tributes between co-stars. Looking back, however, many fans began re-examining those moments through a completely different lens. As rumors intensified, some entertainment insiders claimed that speculation about a possible relationship had circulated within parts of the Broadway community for quite some time.
However, for her to break ranks, so to speak, and release this thinly veiled, venomous attack, I believe, onto her husband, onto his new relationship, he who shall not be named in this statement, it seems like a woman scorned. Also, it seems like she's had some heavy duty California therapy or something. You know, my soul, the heart, God, the universe, betrayal. But it really seems like she's had an epiphany or someone's told her how to feel.
According to those reports, numerous people were aware of the ongoing gossip, but chose not to publicly comment. Meanwhile, reports indicate that Furness has been focusing on moving forward and embracing a new chapter of her life following the end of her marriage.
It happens every time we have a divorce in the public eye. If a man does something like this, they are ahead of the game because the current wife doesn't know that they're about to be left for another woman yet. So that gives him time to go set up the PR team, his lawyers, to have a complete plan of action. She's then stuck, can't really say anything, right? She has to just keep her mouth shut and he gets to put out whatever lies he wants to. It always seems to be on their behalf.
Sources close to the situation have described her as concentrating on personal growth, future projects, and the support of close friends and family members during this transition. At the same time, reports suggest that Jackman and Foster are happy as they continue navigating their lives in the public eye. Even so, ongoing speculation surrounding how their relationship developed continues to generate debate among fans and entertainment commentators alike. The story remains especially fascinating because it contrasts so sharply with the public image that surrounded Jackman for decades. Whether future details emerge or not, the discussion continues to divide opinions and fuel headlines across the entertainment world. What do you think really happened behind the scenes? Was this simply a friendship that evolved over time, or do you believe the rumors that have circulated for years? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more celebrity stories and entertainment updates.